Hello and welcome back to what will probably be the final instalment of A Murder in Buckfield. A Murder in Buckfield is a game made on rpgmakerwith. I believe the creator was SCS. I will double check at the end. So last time we went through 3 of the 6 testimonials and we still have 3 left to go. So we are getting closer to the end. So I'm going to continue having another sweep around and then we will get to the final 3 testimonials. So let's get back to it. So again, just going for a final sweep of the area down here. So yeah. Seems that we can't go into anything, but yeah. Got the playground down here. Who is this over here? You find Eddie Blake in the park, sprawled on the ground, his body limp and vulnerable in deep unconscious sleep. A crumpled newspaper is gripping tightly in his hand, the edges frayed from his clenched fists, like he's holding onto something he can't let go. You could wake him or carefully pry the newspaper from his grasp. Let's read the newspaper. You gently tug at the newspaper, but it's like trying to wrestle a fish from a sleeping cat's paws. Eddie's grip tightens with each pull as the paper holds the key to some forgotten secret. A few more tugs you give one final yank, and finally the paper rips free. Eddie mumbles something incoherent in his sleep, still fluttering as if he's clinging to it in his dreams. But you've got what you came for. Buckfield Gazette. Tragedy strikes at Buckfield. Recent graduate found murdered near Birchwood Moor, by Aaron Drum. The Buckfield community is reeling after the body of Emily Johnson, an 18-year-old recent graduate of Pine Ridge High School, was discovered early Friday morning in the woods behind the old Birchwood Moor. The brutal crime has left residents shocked and searching for answers in the wake of the tragedy. Emily, described by friends and teachers as a kind and outgoing young woman with a bright future, was last seen by her family Thursday evening. Her body was discovered by a local jogger shortly before 7 a.m. on Friday. Authorities confirmed that she had been stabbed multiple times and showed signs of a violent assault. I can't believe this happened to Emily, said Sarah Foster, Emily's best friend. She was the kind of person who lit up every room she walked into. She didn't deserve this. The shocking nature of the crime has left residents on edge. Emily was well known in Buckfield, where she participated in her church youth group and was a member of Pine Ridge High School's drama club, often taking lead roles in school plays. The investigation is now focused on Emily's personal connections, as the brutal nature of the murder suggests it could be someone close to her. Authorities believe that those who knew her best may hold the key to unlocking the truth. To date, no witnesses have come forward to shed light on the gruesome crime, leaving investigators with a few leads. The search for answers continues as the case remains shrouded in mystery. This is a devastating loss for our town, Police Chief Frank Lawson told the Gazette on Saturday. We are working closely with seasoned homicide detectives from Portland who are now leading the investigation. Every resource available will be used to bring the person responsible for justice. The old Birchwood Moor, once a bustling shopping centre, has been abandoned for years and has become a known hangout spot for teenagers and drifters. Residents have voiced growing concerns over safety in the area, which some fear has become a magnet for criminal activity. The moor's been a problem for years, says Betty Collins, co-owner of Buckfield General Store. Kids are messing around there, but lately it's been more than that. The town needs to do something about it. However, police have not officially named any suspects in connection with Emily's murder. Investigators are still urging anyone with information to come forward. Sources close to the investigation told the Gazette that Emily's whereabouts on the night of the murder remain unclear, though officers are looking into reports of a confrontation near the mall late Thursday night or early Friday morning. "This crime has shaken us to the core," said Chief Lawson. "We are asking the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activity immediately. Emily's family deserves answers, and we will not rest until justice is served." Emily's death marks the first homicide in Buckfield in nearly 2 decades. A candlelit vigil is planned for Wednesday evening at Pine Ridge High School, where students, teachers and community members will gather to honour her memory. Anyone with information about the case is urged to contact the Buckfield Police Department at 207 555 0301. You quietly slip the newspaper back into Eddie's hand, making sure he doesn't stir. You could wake him or carefully pry the newspaper from his grasp. I'm going to wake him up now. You give him a gentle nudge, then another, hoping for a response. When that doesn't work, you nudge harder, this time with more force, like you're trying to shake loose a stubborn vending machine snack. Eddie groans, but still doesn't budge. A third push this time, followed by a few choice words, and finally he lets out a disgruntled grunt, opening one eye like it's been disturbed from the deepest of sleeps. "Huh? You still here? Did I forget something? Or my brain's a little scrambled, man?" Ask about why he's sleeping here. "Is there a reason you spent the night here in the park?" He blinks several times, his eyes adjusting to the light. "Sleep is like the pause between breaths, don't you think? The world keeps spinning, but here it's still. Everything is still. Everything is still until it isn't." Here we go again. You think to yourself, like syphilis? Rolling that damn rock, never quite getting anywhere. "Still, huh? You sure you just sleeping?" He coughs weakly, his voice hoarse, still groggy and disorientated. "You ever think about how the stars are not really there? Or the sun, like it was yesterday's fire? We think we understand time, but we don't. It's just a loop round and round." Time loop. Right. Speaking of time, I'm running out of it. Level with me, Eddie. Why are you here? Why not somewhere else? He rubs his face again, as if trying to wake up, seamlessly lost in thought. His expression vacant and distant. Ask about the mall and the motel. "Why did you crash in the park? Usually you stick to the mall or the motel, don't you?" A faint shiver runs through his frame, but he doesn't seem to notice. "The mall? That place is too loud. Too many echoes, like being inside a tin can. Motel smells like memories that aren't even mine, rotten memories." He looks away for a moment, his voice faltering as though caught between weariness and something darker. "Besides, the world is too small for that kind of comfort." He glances at you suddenly, his bloodshot eyes wide and darting, as if searching for something unseen. A crooked, almost childlike grin briefly crosses his face before vanishing. "Here, it's open. I can hear the wind talking, you know. Like in Job, when it says God speaks out of the whirlwind. But this wind, it doesn't say anything nice." The wind talking? Doesn't sound like a good conversation to be having. Though it's probably more productive than whatever the fuck this is, you quietly reflect. The wind? What wind? The air is barely stirring, just a soft, listless stillness that doesn't even ruffle the leaves. Ask about. Your attention shifts to the newspaper beside him. "What's that you're reading?" He picks up the newspaper from the ground, holding it as though it's fragile. "The truth is in these squares, hidden between the words. This is the lie they'll never tell you." He mutters to himself, turning the page slowly, almost reverently. Is that the truth you're finding? People, they like to look at death like it's a thing, but death isn't. It's just a door. You walk through and bam, you're somewhere else. Or you're nowhere. Same difference, right? Somewhere else or nowhere. You don't think it's a bit more complicated than that? He notices your eyes drawn to the front page headline. Tragedy strikes Buckfield. Recent graduate found murdered near Birchwood Moor. I wasn't the one who broke it. Not this time. Ask about... You really don't have anything? No insights, no lead, nothing on this murder? He laughs quietly, almost bitterly, and glances toward the pond behind you. Murder? Death? That's just the soul's way of saying I'm tired. You know what I mean? You can't rush it or force it. It comes when it's ready. It's all part of the same tapestry. He scratches his head, his expression pained, but his words detached. Was she raped and stabbed to death, Eddie? Stabbed 14 times, 8 times in her torso, left naked to the mercy of scavengers in the wood. He winces at your words, his voice cracking with raw emotion, shaking with an intensity he can't hide. Emily, she had this light. She didn't see the darkness, but I saw it. It's in her eyes. It's always in their eyes, isn't it? That light flickers, then it fades. You can't save them. You talk like you knew her, but that doesn't explain anything. What happened to her, Eddie? His eyes turn wild, locked onto yours, wild and unblinking, but his voice drops to a near whisper, low and trembling. You don't need insights. You need to look at the truth. They won't tell you everything. Everything's a choice, but we can't see the end. Only the ones who did it know that. He lowers his head, barely audible now, the weight of his words pulling him down. They did it, not me. They? Who's they, Eddie? The words hang in the air, the silence pressing in heavier than the curtain of fog that envelops you. Eddie's lips quiver, his fingers twitch, but he doesn't respond. You don't say another word, fully understanding the futility of pressing further. The clock's ticking, and you know there's no more time to waste. Eddie's shoulders tremble as quiet sobs escape him, but without another glance, he lies back down, his breathing slowly as he clutches the newspaper and quickly drifts back into a deep sleep. Okay. I'm going to see if there's anything else. Probably because it's too early to. Yeah. Let's just have a look here. So what? Let's get ahead of the statue with the final sweep. There's got to be something else. Go down that bit in a minute. Let's go here to the church. You slip your hand into your pocket, fingers brushing against the fabric in search for a familiar shape of the foxtail key. You Your brow furrows as you pull out nothing but crumpled receipt, a loose change. A quick check of your other pockets yield the same result. With a sigh, you mentally retrace your steps, realising with a sharp pang that you must have left the master key at home this morning. Okay, so let's get... Okay, cool, so there's nothing there. So there's got to be something else that I need to find. Question is what? It seems like you never do find out what happens to this statue. Yes. Okay. Well, sis suspects. Who do you want to start with? Right. So, I've done the first three. So let's go through to the other three. Paul Richards. That punk. Which one was he again? Paul Hot Spice Shop Hoof Dog Richards. His rapping alone should be enough cause for us to arrest him. That's a second bug that I found. Ooh, 2 bugs I found. I might have to see if I can message the developer. Having the Emilys hated, Paul's calm, Paul's control, Paul's letter and Paul's stalking testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. All jokes aside, Linda and Emily absolutely hated Paul by the end of their relationship. His stalking apparently got worse after they broke up, showing up uninvited, calling her constantly. It's consistent with everything we've heard about him being controlling. Paul denied being violent, but come on, he sent her a threatening letter. That doesn't exactly scream calm and collected. Having the Emily's jealous ex, Emily's support, Paul's attributes and Paul's confession testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. He had a real issue with Emily visiting Pastor Ron, who described Paul as vindictive, possessive and petty, textbook jealousy. Oh, and here's the kicker, Paul admitted to vandalising the church the morning of Emily's murder. That's irrational at best, violent at worst. Having the Jacob's view, Ron's concern and Tommy's finger-pointing testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. Furthermore, Jacob Turner said Paul might have been involved in Emily's murder, and Ron suggested the same thing. Tommy Harris didn't hold back either. He lumped Paul in with Eddie Blake and Pastor Ron as suspects. Sounds like Paul has made plenty of enemies around the town. Having the Laura's doubt, Paul's stupidity and Sophie's belief testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. On the flip side, some people don't buy that he had anything to do with it. Officer Wallace doesn't think Paul is capable of murder, and Chief Lawson agrees. He said Paul's too stupid, whatever that means. Sophie Cooper also said she doubts Paul was involved with the murder. There's the broad strokes of what we've got on Paul Richards. Your partner remains still taken in the scene with a calm but calculated demeanour. There's a subtle tension in his posture, as if weighing every piece of information before deciding to make the next move. Well, if we do arrest him, at the very least it will bolster his street cred. His rap career's in your hands now. Okay, Ron Peters. The pervert pastor, right? Got anything solid on him? Pastor Ron Peter is a figure of suspicion due to his past behaviour towards Emily. Having the Caro's last interaction, Laura's warning and Paul's accusation testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. He saw Emily the evening before her murder. According to her Aunt Carol, Officer Wallace cautioned against pursuing him without evidence, as he's deeply respected in the community. Yet he was described as dangerous, granted by Paul Richards, who suggested that maybe he killed Emily because she knew something he didn't want to get out. Having the Paul's claim, Ron's attraction, Ron's confession and Ron's contradictions testimonies has unlocked the following dialogue. What's more, Ron admitted to having a strong, inappropriate attraction to Emily. He even kept locks of her hair alongside a stash of other materials in his church office. There were reports of him engaging in strange behaviour, like being seen masturbating in the church after Emily visited. Emily's former friend Sophie Cooper felt something was off about Ron's interactions with her. Having the Ron's creepiness, Ron's denial, Ron's fixation and Ron's shame testimonies has unlocked the following dialogue. Not to mention, Emily's best friend Sarah Foster always thought Ron was a bit of a creep, though Emily never voiced any concerns about him. Ron denied any inappropriate behaviour between them, but Linda pointed out that Ron had developed a disturbing fixation on Emily when she was just 15, which eventually caused Linda to leave the church. Despite the accusations, Ron maintains he never harmed Emily. Having the Ron's salon, Ron's shoes and Tommy's finger-pointing testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. His shoe size is 10, though he said he doesn't own Timberland boots, which produced the prints found at the crime scene. Unsurprisingly, he reacted angrily when I implicated him. For what it's worth, Tommy also pointed fingers at Ron, alongside Eddie Blake and Paul Richards. That's the overview of what I can share about Ron Peters. With a deep sigh, Clive shifts his weight from one foot to the other, every so often glancing at you. He slips his hand into his pocket, the tension in his body clear as he tries to shake off the growing frustration. The ball's in your court, Squishalski. Time to make your move. Right, then we have Tommy Harris. He's bad news. What do we have on him again? Tommy Harris, the Vietnam vet, a volatile figure in Buckfield with a history of violent outbursts, complicated relationships and a questionable alibi surrounding Emily's murder. Having the Emily's encounter, Linda's fear, Paul's bravado, Tommy's abuse and Tommy's threat testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. Where to begin? He had a big fight with Linda just a couple of nights before Emily's murder, during which he allegedly made threats towards both Linda and Emily. He was drunk and belligerent during the altercation, and Linda lived in fear of him. Despite this, she denied that he had been physically violent towards her during the confrontation. Still, Tommy has a history of violence towards Linda. Still, Tommy has a history of violence towards Linda, though not specifically toward Emily. It's possible, granted unlikely, he refrained from being violent with Emily out of fear of Paul Richards. Having the Tommy's denial, Tommy's domestic violence, Tommy's history, Tommy's limitations and Sophie's belief testimonies has unlocked the following dialogue. Unsurprisingly, Tommy has denied ever beating women, insisting he hadn't laid a hand on Linda in years. This seems to be a lie. Officer Wallace confirmed that Tommy had previously put Linda in the hospital with 2 cracked ribs. His intense arguments with Linda often led to police involvement. Maggie Green, the town gossip, confirmed this as well. Despite all this, Sophie Cooper still doubts his involvement in Emily's murder. Having the Tommy's leering, Tommy's meanness and Tommy's moment testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. Along with that, Emily had a deep dislike for Tommy, though her best friend Sarah Foster said she never mentioned him being violent towards her. Sophie Cooper recalled seeing Tommy leering at Emily, which made her question his intentions. However, there was also a moment where Gary Collins saw Tommy offer Emily help with something, revealing a kinder, softer side to him. That's pretty much the core of what we know about Tommy Harris. Clive stands with a quiet intensity, rubbing his chin, his eyes never quite resting on one thing for too long. There's a sense of determination in his stance, though a hint of uncertainty lingers as he tries to figure out where to go next. You've got the wheel, Squish. Let's see if you can drive this. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Eddie Blake because obviously I've had that conversation with him. What you got in the crazy son of a bitch? So let's just see. I mean, the Eddies movement testimony has unlocked the following dialogue. But he's often seen loitering near the old mall where Emily used to hang out, even said to be living between the motel and the mall. People say he checks in and out of the motel sporadically, almost like he doesn't really stay anywhere for long. As we saw firsthand, he's clearly mentally unwell. Having the Eddie's mannerism, Eddie's schizophrenia testimonials has unlocked the following dialogue. Several attested to Eddie's odd behaviour. He mumbles to himself and doesn't interact with others. Eric Cornell thought he might be schizophrenic. He keeps to himself, but his mannerisms stand out enough to make people uncomfortable. He just doesn't seem stable, and that only adds to the unease around him. That's the gist of what we have on Eddie Blake. Okay. Right. Is there anything else on Jacob Turner? What involved? Connected. Having the Emily's. Right. Okay. So I think I've read through this. Jacob's alibi. Yeah, I read through that. Just want to see if there's anything else. Having the Jacob's shoe size. Okay. Having the Sophie's belief testimonial. Right, yeah, no, so I've been through that. Okay. Okay. Let's just see if there's anything else. Just want to see if there's anything else since talking to Eddie in the park. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Okay, so I've actually gone through everything. Okay. Right, let's pick this up. We've got to call this by 7 AM, find a payphone, let the Colonel know once you've decided who we're pinning this on. Okay, so I still have the final sweep. I don't know that there's anything else to put this in. So I've gone through everything here. Still don't know who got the head. Maybe that's what this is for. I don't know. Okay. So the question is, who do we think actually done it? Don't know. Let's do you know what? Let's go to the crime scene. And let's take a read through the notes. So, Emily was found around here. Feel like there's more. Satchel. Clues. Right. Emily's wounds were precise, random act. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing. The rage behind the stabs is clear, but there's something personal about it. The defensive wounds suggest she tried to fight back but was too late. The level of brutality points to someone who either knew her well or wanted her dead in the worst possible way. Someone threw a rock through the window of the church on the night or the morning of the murder. Is it a coincidence or is it somehow connected? Whoever did this might have more than a grudge. So that was Paul who done that. The presence of another Chesterfield at this location points to someone familiar with the abandoned mall area. Okay, family photo. It was partially Jacob's Nike Air Max. You found a pair of size 11 Nike Air Max 94s in Turner's apartment. While they don't directly match this size 10.5 Timberlake premium 6-inch waterproof boots found at the crime scene prints, the two sizes are close enough that it's possible the same person wore both shoes. This raises further questions about Turner's potential involvement and requires additional scrutiny. locks of hair. You found locks of light golden hair in Pastor Ron's office safe. He confirmed that they belonged to Emily and insists he kept them as a way to feel closer to her. Safe combination. There's a scrap piece of paper with the following sequence of numbers scribbled on it: 11, 11, 43. Chief Lawson informs you that Emily's body was discovered by a jogger with multiple stab wounds and signs of assault. Time of death estimated to be late night or early morning, only hours before discovery. As Linda Johnson suggested, Emily may have had a drug problem. Tommy Harris even called her a junkie. Emily's relationship with Tommy, per Chief Lawson, was possibly strained due to Tommy's short temper and past conflicts with Emily's mother. Linda Johnson described a heated argument with an intoxicated Tommy Harris a couple of nights before Emily's murder. Emily confronted Tommy, the encounter leading him to make threats against Emily and Linda. Emily escaped her home often, according to Sarah Foster, staying at the Fosters or with her Aunt Carol due to her mother's drinking and Tommy's temper. Linda Johnson said that Emily dismissed her concerns, brushing off warnings about Sarah Foster and Jacob Turner. Her defiance showed a growing rift between them as she laughed at Linda's fears and chose her own path. Gary Collins described a history of significant conflicts between Emily and her mother, Linda. Notably, they were removed from Buckfield General Store about a year ago following an intense argument. Sophie Cooper remembers how Emily saw Paul Richards as misunderstood and was fiercely defensive of him despite warnings. While not reckless, Emily's decisions weren't always sound, especially when it came to him. Pastor Ron informed you that he occasionally cut Emily's hair free of charge. Emily hated Paul Richards at the end of their relationship, according to Linda Johnson. From Lisa Hutchinson, Emily was a beautiful and popular, a girl who drew admiration from everyone, but the murder has shaken the town's image of her and maybe the town itself. Jim O'Malley mentioned that Paul Richard had serious jealousy issues, often upsetting Emily. He believes Paul might have been stalking her after their breakup. Chief Lawson explained that Emily was last seen by her aunt, Carol Mitchell, with whom she was living. Carol claims that she spoke to Emily just before going to bed. The night before Emily's body was found, her Aunt Carol recalled Emily came home after visiting Pastor Ron at the church. They had dinner together and Emily didn't mention going anywhere. Carol went to bed at 9 p.m. and Emily was still at the apartment. Emily wore a dark gemstone necklace, a gift from her late father, that matched the earrings found at the crime scene. Her mother insisted that she never took it off, yet it was missing from the scene. Could the killer have taken it? Jim O'Malley revealed that Emily had been seeing Paul Richards until about a month ago when they broke up. Terry Jones characterised Emily as a bright, personable young woman with a spark that made her stand out. He noted her ability to connect with others, earning the admiration of teachers and neighbours alike. Whew. Chief Lawson reported that Emily Johnson, a recent high school graduate, was well liked and popular in Buckfield. Her social connections may be significant to the investigation. Jenny Thompson mentioned that while Emily was super popular in school, she didn't stand out to her personally. Jenny knew of her but wasn't close to her, having graduated the same year as Paul Richards a few years before Emily. After her father's death, Emily changed, less steady, more in need of support, like she was carrying around all the sadness no one else could see. Sarah Foster became her constant, always bringing laughter when Emily needed it most, according to Sophie Cooper. Emily didn't get along with her mother, Linda, and was often frustrated by Tommy's controlling behaviour, according to her aunt, Carol Mitchell. She also noted that although Emily had a soft spot for Paul Richards, she cautioned her niece about getting too close to him due to his troublemaker tendencies. Emily's remains were found by Maggie Green's cousin in the wood behind the shuttered Birchwood Mall, according to Tim O'Malley. Carol Mitchell mentioned that a few times last month she saw Emily too and Jacob Turner entering the abandoned hall. She didn't question Emily about some about something. It was a typical teenage behaviour, but now feels uneasy about what they were doing there. On weekends, Emily, Sarah and Jacob went to the city for parties, concerts and other drug-fueled revelries. At least that's what her mother, Linda Johnson, believes. Emily had her share of demons, as Oliver Baker put it. Her father's death, her mother's drinking problem and involvement with Tommy Harris, her troubled relationship with Paul, time and things weren't perfect as they appeared. Emily was well regarded in town per Maggie Green and always surrounded by friends and admirers. Jeez, there's a lot. Right. Emily sought guidance and support from Pastor Ron, as he put it, a fact that seemed to bother Paul Richards. Similar to Linda Johnson, Tommy Harris alleged that Emily was stealing money from her mother. Emily, Sarah Foster and Sophie Cooper used to be inseparable, according to Linda Johnson, but after Emily started dating Paul, she changed. It only got worse once she met Jacob. Maggie Green informed... How many? 63. Oh my god, there's... Oh, I can't read through all of those. Jeez. There's like a lot. Bloody hell. Like 193, right. Contacts, right, so it's really it's got to be okay. Suspects here. Okay. Right. I'm gonna go back. Right. And I'm gonna go with, right, so I think I'm gonna cool. Don't know what happened there. Jeez. Right. Okay. So 10.5 size were found at the crime scene, and I believe Tommy Harris has that. So I'm gonna actually, I think I'm gonna call it in, and I'm gonna call it on Tommy Harris. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I want to do that. Right. I'm just gonna take some water because my throat's really dry. Oh, it's better. Right, so let's go call in this murder. Right, I've decided I'm gonna pin it on Tommy Harris. Call the arrest. Pick up payphone. Right. Okay, let's do this. Detective Squishalski, what the hell took you so long? It's already 7:15. You were supposed to call at 7 o'clock. Lynn Russell's team has been pestering me all morning non-stop. Lynn who? Lynn Russell, the CNN headline news anchor. She wants a one-on-one interview with me this afternoon. It's going to air on cable news tonight. You better have some goddamn good news for me. I'm ready to make an arrest, Colonel. Well, about time. Who the hell is it? He speaks with barely concealed irritation, clearly frustrated at the delay, but still hoping for a solid lead. I'm going to go with Tommy Harris. Tommy Harris? That goddamn hothead who's had his hands in too many dirty pots? There's a slight sense of disbelief in Hayes' voice. Not fully convinced, yet still giving you a chance to explain. Are you sure? If you're telling me it's him, you better have more than just his temper to go on. I'm going to confirm. Oh, I'm fairly certain, Colonel. You might question it when you hear everything I've uncovered, but I guess we'll see. His tone shifts to something more urgent, though still tingled with annoyance. All right, but have you made the arrest yet, or are you still sitting with your dick in your hand? Not yet. I was waiting to request backup. His frustration starts to fade slightly, but he's still trying to maintain control. A squadron's already on its way. They'll be there any minute. Don't fuck this up, you hear me? He hangs up the phone before you get a chance to respond. The cavalry's arrived, he says, cracking his knuckles. Now, tell me, who's getting the bracelets? CNN breaking news. We begin with breaking news out of Buckfield, a small town that has been at the centre of a murder investigation into the brutal killing of 18-year-old Emily Johnson. Tommy Harris, a local mechanic and Vietnam veteran, has been arrested in connection with the savage murder. Harris, known for his violent temper and troubled history with both Emily and her mother Linda, was taken into custody after investigators uncovered new evidence linking him to the crime scene. Tommy Harris, I knew he had a temper, but killer? Sources tell us that Harris had a confrontation with Emily shortly before her death, during which he allegedly made threats. I swear I saw him talking to Emily just days before the murder. Now I'd wish I'd said something. Authorities are also looking into Harris's history of domestic violence, which may have played a role in the killing. That man always seemed angry, but to actually do this? For more on this breaking news story, we go live to our correspondent Bob Nelson, who is on the ground in Buckfield. Bob, what can you tell us about the arrest and the reaction from the community? I should have been there for ya, Ems. I should have been there, but now I'm here, pulling my hair. This shit ain't fair. In a town where Harris has long been a figure of controversy, his arrest has left some residents divided. One resident recalled witnessing a moment of kindness from him towards Emily, while others feared him due to his violent past. Police are working to confirm the timeline of events, but it is clear that Harris's involvement in this case has shaken the community to its core. Back to you, Lynn. Tommy's always been a hothead, but murder? I never saw that coming. I can't say I'm surprised, to be honest. I've seen him lose control at the bar more than once. We all have, but this is a whole different level. Ooh. Tommy Harris, after everything that happened, he was exonerated. DNA came back clean before the trial even started, but it didn't matter much. His reputation was already in the gutter. Folks kept their distance after all that went down. Clive pauses, his voice strained as if he is forcing the memory. Funny thing is, I heard he ended up in some bar brawl in Mechanic Falls not too long after, stabbed a guy to death, landed behind bars for a long stretch anyway. Can't say I'm surprised. Some people, they just can't outrun their past. Every muscle in your face seems to grow rigid, like you're trying to hold back something, anger, frustration or sadness. After all that mess, meanwhile we barely made it out ourselves. Our careers didn't exactly take off. We were marked. doesn't seem right, but you did everything you could. You held on when it was rough, but things don't always go our way. Yeah, but you were shitting your brains out the entire time I was working on the case, Clive. Couldn't even pick up the damn phone when we had to call it in to the Colonel. Yeah, but now it begs the question, who the hell was the real killer? That case has still never been solved. Clive closes his eyes briefly as if searching for more clarity. Guess we'll never have an answer on that, huh? Your expression remains neutral, but there's a hollow quality to it. The unspoken memories hanging in the air between you, a shared understanding of what has been lost, though no words ever said. What about the others? Well, the aftermath didn't end with Harris. Things just lingered, you know. He shifts in his bed, his voice quiet. Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. No one walks away unscathed in cases like that. Blake, after everything, he just left Buckfield, vanished, never heard from him again. Guess some people just disappear, huh? No one knew what he was really up to in that town. I've always wondered what he was doing there, but it doesn't matter now, does it? And the librarian, Turner, right? Jacob Turner ended up getting charged for connections to drug dealers out of Portland. We had enough to bring him down on the drugs. Clive presses his hand to his forehead as if the memories are just out of reach. His eyes narrow in concentration, but there's a clear frustration as the details slip through his fingers. What was the fuss you made earlier about search warrant? Said we couldn't push that too hard or something? Oh, it was nothing. Let's just say I made a rookie mistake and the department wanted to avoid a scandal. But you did what you could. How long did he end up doing? He got 4 years for the drugs. After his release, he disappeared. Moved out west. Started fresh, I guess. Who knows where he is now? Clive hesitates as if considering the words carefully before giving his response. Not exactly the closure we'd hoped for, huh? What about the victim's mother? Lisa, right? You let out a hushed sigh of weariness around the deep fatigue that comes from years of holding something in. Linda, she never really recovered, Clive. After Emily's death, she drank herself to oblivion, died alone in that shitty house of hers. They found her a year later. Tommy tried to fix things with her, but it never stuck. Losing Emily broke her. Clive stops, his body stilling for a moment as absorbs the full weight of what you said. That's just a damn shame. No one ever is the same after losing a child. His shoulders seem to slump slightly, as though carrying an invisible burden beneath. There's an undercurrent of melancholy, something unspoken. After a moment, he seems to brush it. Richards was another who didn't make it out. He kept trying to make it as a rapper, but no one in Buckfield was buying it. He left town and made some noise in the underground in New York for a while, but a few years later he was killed by a drive-by. Rap beef of all things. Clive shrugs, his expression unreadable. That was probably inevitable. And then there's Pastor Ron. He left Buckfield a few years after this all went down. People, they whispered about him. The whole case ruined his reputation. He tried setting up a new congregation in Boston, but that fell apart fast. And you won't believe it, Clive, but I heard he got caught up in some child porn thing online in the mid-noughties. Never heard much about him after that, though. Jesus, what a fucking degenerate. He spent his life preaching salvation, but maybe he was too far gone to be saved. Neither of you moved for several minutes, the gravity of the conversation settling over you like a heavy cloak, a feeling as if time itself has slowed down. Then Clive leans back, rubbing his temples with his fingers, his body sinking deeper into the bed. The exhaustion is evident in the slow, methodical way he moves. I should head out, Clive. My daughter has her recital tonight, and I think the blizzard's finally let up. Your lips twitch upward, but the expression remains fleeting, as though the smile is reluctant to fully take shape. You did good today. Did I? Feels like, I don't know, everything's still foggy. He remains motionless for a beat, his hands resting on his lap, his thoughts clearly drifting. You'll be back next week, right? We should go over the Buckfield case one more time. Feels like there's more. There's got to be more. Of course, Clive. I'll be back. As you leave, he sits quietly lost in the cloud of thoughts. The silence endures, a faint sadness tugging at your soul. Okay, don't want that one. Oh, there we go. Call your wife? Yes. Phone. Hey, it's me, just finished up with Clive. He's still struggling. Couldn't recall even the basic facts today. It's hard to watch, honestly. A year ago, the man was sharp as a tack. Now, it's like the decline hit him all at once. Are you on your way? Cool. I'll meet you there in about 30 minutes. Alright, drive safe, love you too. You hang up the phone. Perhaps you should take a look at the patio door to see if it's still snowing. I used to think I understood justice. We chase it, fight for it as if it's something we can grasp. Something that will make everything right once we have it. We believe that if we just do enough, if we put the pieces together, it will fix all the wrongs. But justice, true justice, doesn't always work that way. Not anymore. She was only 18. She was just beginning to figure out who she was, what she wanted to be, and then, in a single moment, she was gone, her life taken from her without warning. No amount of justice, no matter how much we seek or how many truths we uncover, will ever bring her back. The world doesn't owe us perfection. We're all flawed, messy beings, stumbling through life trying to make sense of what we can never fully understand. In the end, we don't solve the mysteries of life just to uncover some final truth. We solve them because we have to learn how to live with the lies, the pain, the things that don't make sense. We search through the darkness not because it's a puzzle to be solved, but because it's what shows us who we are. The darkness, what we fear, what we don't understand, remind us that we're human. Maybe that's where justice lies, not in the answers, but in the spaces between what we know and what we long to understand. We can't undo the pain, the loss, or the suffering. Those things will always be with us, but we can choose how we carry them. We can choose how to live with the things we can never change. It's been 30 years since Emily was tragically taken from this world, but the way she's been remembered, the way we lived with the pain of her loss, the way we've carried her in our hearts, even as time has moved on. It's the only justice I could truly offer her. Maybe that's the real mystery. How do we move forward knowing everything we know now? How do we keep searching for meaning in a world that feels so chaotic and so broken? Perhaps the answer isn't in finding the truth, but in searching itself. The quest for meaning, even when we know some questions may never be answered, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. And then it all came down to it. After everything I'd seen, after all the searching, I found myself back where I started, back at a murder in Buckfield. Created by Nestor of Neredia, can't pronounce that. Testimonial rank acquired 186 of 193 testimonials. Clue rank acquired 21 of 33 clues, you're a clue collector. Task complete list. Achievement incomplete. Failed to obtain and clear all tasks on the to-do list. Damn it. True friend achievement incomplete. Did not leave Clive any peps. Small town naturalist achievement incomplete. Find a fox, bird and rat. Found 2 of 3. Traffic disruptor achievement incomplete. Cause 1 of 3 cars to honk at you. Scheitmeister achievement incomplete. Dropped a loose in 1 of 4 toilets. Oh, okay. Didn't know that they was meant to actually go have a shit in the toilet. Case ongoing. You failed to arrest the murderer. That's annoying. Detective rank. C. You were a rookie detective. Better luck next time. Bonus ending. Not unlocked. Damn it. F. Oh, Finn. Thank you for playing. Cool. So that was a murder in Buckfield. I did not find the correct murderer, so I will have to probably go back and see if I can do that. But that is the end of this game for me for here. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Have you played RPG Maker with and a murder in Buckfield or not? And obviously, if you like this content, please do subscribe, comment, like, share, and let me know your thoughts. I am Squishalski. I have been playing a murder in Buckfield, created by RPG Maker with on Nintendo Switch. And this is the end of this. So I now need to find another game to play. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will think of some other games. So I will say bye-bye for now, but you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and on Kick. But until next time, bye-bye for now, bye-bye!